Hey guys, welcome back to Northwest Small Batch Brewing. I am Steven and today is beer day. So I'm making a Belgian Witbier, as you could probably tell from the description. Before I start going over it, if you're new here, it would be a huge favor if you could look down and hit the subscribe button for this channel. It's what I really need. It really helps the channel out, helps keep me motivated to keep putting out new videos. So I appreciate it. And let's get started. So Belgian Witbier, to start with, it's kind of like the Belgian version of a Hefeweizen. It's a wheat beer with some orange and some coriander, unfiltered, and so it will not have any clarifiers. No Warflick, no gelatin, nothing to clear it because it's supposed to be unfiltered and cloudy. All right, so let's get started. So here we are with the grist. We're looking at about 11, almost 12, so 11.8 pounds here total. I was hoping for Belgian Pilsner, which is why I have two sheets here, because I was originally wanting Belgian Pilsner, couldn't find any. So I have 4.5 pounds of Great Western Pilsner, which is my local maltster. And then I have some white wheat in here. I wanted Belgian wheat, but again, I couldn't find any. So 2.5 pounds of Great Western white wheat. Again, that's a local maltster for me. And then I've got a pound of Munich and 3/4 of a pound of Carapils, Breeze Carapils, you know, for head retention and mouthfeel and whatnot. And then in these bags, because they don't need to be, I know you can't quite see them, but I just have a little bit of oats. I have 10 ounces of oats, and I have some flaked wheat, 2.5 pounds actually of flaked wheat, and then just a couple handfuls of rice hulls, as I always do. So I'm going to go ahead and mill this up. Forgot to mention, while I mill my grain here, I'm going to go ahead and pop open this can of a locally made Belgian wit beer by a company called Monkless. This is the, oh boy, Shepplekofeggan. Anyway, I'll put it down below in case you're interested and you can check it out. Alright guys, time to mash in. In case you're wondering, my next beer for today, Wonka's Wit from Block 15. We're looking at mash temperature of 152 degrees for 1 hour, and then I will mash out at 170 degrees for about 10 minutes, and then we'll drain the grain. So I will be back to drain the grain and start the boil. See you in a few.
1 hour later.
Alright guys, welcome back. It is time to drain your grain. That's right, I had a t-shirt made. So I've already hit 170 degrees for mash out. I've already started turning the temperature up to boiling. I don't think I've ever tried doing this next bit on camera. Got a couple different hooks here that hook in and let you drain the grain. So always use a protective glove. I got one in. This is the gangster lean we got going on here. That's two. Always easier if you have a friend to help you with this part, but it's doable. All right, fan goes on, windows go open, and I will be back in a few minutes when this is at a boil. We can add our hops. See you in a few. All right, guys, so I have my fan going because I'm indoors, but I'm going to do a 60-minute hop, one hop edition of, well, it's supposed to be 1 ounce of Saz, but they were sold out, so I got Sterling instead. So I'm going to put 1 ounce, I don't know if you can see that with the light, but it's 1 ounce of Sterling that will go in. right now. I will be back 10 minutes before the end of the boil to add the last 2 ingredients. Alright guys, 10 minutes left in the boil. I have here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a ½ ounce of orange peel, dried orange peel. It's going to go in this hot bag here because I think it's going to get more flavor that way. And I'll put this in the bag in a second. A ½ ounce as well of freshly ground coriander. So, let me get this lid off of here for a second. Always a challenge. Again, you want to always wear safety glasses when you're doing this kind of stuff. Okay. Did I just say safety glasses? I must be drunk. Safety gloves. It's very hot. It's very hot. That's it. Alright, we'll see you in 10 minutes for the end of the boil. Hey guys, so quick update. Here's where I'm at. Things went downhill really fast. My hop basket fell over out of the sink and all the hop like goop all over the floor. So I just spent a bunch of time cleaning that up, and then while I was working, my mop that I used to clean up that mop goop, the mop fell over, taking the entire bucket of water with it. It ended up like draining into the other room and then draining into another room where there's hardwood floors. So I spent most of my day here just trying to get water picked up, and now that sticky water is everywhere. So on top of that, I went to look for the yeast because I'm getting close to pitching the yeast, and I found out that More Beer did not include the yeast that I ordered for this beer. So I don't have the yeast. I'm super disappointed because it's a very specific yeast for making wit beer, and I don't have anything else. This is my little package. I keep my any excess yeast I have. So of course I have bread yeast, and then I have a super old Vintage Harvest premium wine yeast for fruity red wine, and then I have Lalvin D47, which is a very common wine yeast or mead yeast, which is probably what I'm going to end up using. It's also kind of old, but I don't know what else to do. It would be either that or pitch the beer down the drain and just take a month off from brewing. So I'm going to pitch the wine yeast here in a little bit, and hopefully it's a surprise and it turns out decent, because I'm super disappointed, and I've already contacted More Beer about it, but there's really nothing they can do. I mean, they can't send me the yeast now. It's too late. Unless they're going to like send it within in the next hour. I mean, there's nothing they can do. I just told them I would hope that they would do better quality control in the future, because you spend 6 to 8 hours on a brew day, and then the last ingredient that you need, maybe the most important, they didn't include it in your order. So I'll be back in a little bit here when the wort has cooled down and I can pitch my wine yeast. Alright guys, so I'm ready to start moving this into the fermenter. I don't know if you can see this, but this particular yeast that I was talking about, you have to actually hydrate it first. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's dead. It's too old. There's nothing happening in here. So it's going to be bread yeast, which is not at all what I wanted, and I'm even now more disappointed with More Beer than I was before. So there you go. Anyway, let's see if I can start getting this transferred here. I'm going to switch spots so hopefully you can see. I've got the pump set up, so as long as everything's open, God willing, we'll see what happens. Here we go. Just needed a little bit of help. I am gonna see if I can. Yeah, that's all right. We're good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and finish filling the fermenter here, which has been sanitized, by the way. And I will see you back, and I'll pitch the, little bit of bread yeast that I have here. And then I'll see you back here in about 30 days. Fingers crossed that the bread yeast doesn't make an absolute mess of this. See you in a bit. Hey everyone, just a quick update. It's been about 30 days, and so I'm going to take this wit beer that's in the fermentation chamber here, and I'm going to move it into the kegerator and give it a week at 12 psi to carbonate, and then we'll be back to test it out. See you then. All right, everybody, you're here. You've made it. It's the end. You have struggled and won the battle. We are here. Belgian Witbier, made with bread yeast. Now, it's just cold out of the fermenter. You probably can't see it too clearly, but it's actually, there's a little bit of a chill haze to it, but otherwise, not bad. Not bad for bread yeast. It has a little bit of a caramel smell, but it has a little bit of a smell that's bothering me a little bit. I'm a little bit nervous. It ended at 1010 final gravity, which I will throw up on the screen if you are so inclined to look. And so, yeah, that means that we ended at about 6% ABV. It does have that cidery smell to it, which is really disappointing. That's, oh man, I can never pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. But there's an off flavor that's usually created by the yeast being fermented too warm, or not enough yeast, or you didn't let it ferment long enough and sit, clean up. I did all that though, so it could just be that it was bread yeast. That is an interesting tasting beer, and I don't taste the that off flavor I was talking about. I don't taste it. I only smell it. So that's interesting. It's actually very smooth. It's not bitter at all. I can't explain the finish, the flavor. Like the aftertaste, sort of the finish on it. It's there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that with the bread yeast. I'm telling you, the smell does make you think there's going to be an off flavor, but there really isn't. It's very smooth, very drinkable. I really don't taste any of the orange or the coriander, so I would say that needs to be bumped up. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good beer, clean. Maybe it's just, let's see, white wheat, Pilsner. It could have been the Pilsner that's giving it that. I'm not a big fan of Pilsner, so it might be the Pilsner that's giving it that flavor at the end. It's like a, not buttery, but I can't explain it. But it's got the flaked oats and the flaked wheat, lots of wheat, a little bit of Munich. Yeah, so really. The head retention didn't last long. It tastes good. It does not taste like a Belgian wit to me, but I like it. It's not bad. So thumbs up. I would have rather made it with the correct yeast, but you know what? It's drinkable, and that's probably the best I can hope for when I was throwing that loop. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope you do try this recipe, and if you do, you use the correct yeast. And maybe take my advice. I would bump up the orange and the coriander for this one a bit higher. Otherwise, I think the grain bill is good. So I will see you in another week for the next video. And until then, thanks for staying till the end. And happy brewing, everybody.